Jeremy Saunders, in his role as Pro-Vice-Chancellor for Institutional Affairs, has been an unstinting leader for environment and sustainability at the University of Cambridge. It is through his leadership that this agenda is right at the forefront of the university's priorities. It is now inherent in all planning processes in the university and in every new development that we consider. He has looked to ways in which he can inspire staff and students to think of their energy usage and consumption, make sure that we always think of what we can do better to make the university far more sustainable, and to take us forward into a future where everything here is done with the environment at the forefront of our thinking. It is his leadership that has made the place entirely different. I can think of a no more fitting recipient of this award than Jeremy, who has done so much for the university, for the environment here in Cambridge, and for our sustainable future.
So Jeremy, could you start by telling us a little about yourself?
I'm Jeremy Saunders. For the last 4 years I've been Pro-Vice-Chancellor for Institutional Affairs. I'm responsible for the well-being of 11,000 staff, for environmental and energy policy, for the university's relationships with local community and local authorities, and also for a large property development in northwest Cambridge for staff and students. In my spare time, I'm a professor of chemistry.
When you started as Pro-VC, how important were environmental sustainability matters at Cambridge?
I came into this role 4 years ago, aware of the world-class research that we do in the area of energy and environment, whether that's pioneering batteries, photovoltaics, recycling methods, manufacturing methods, and ecology and conservation. All of our research in all of these areas is world-class, but I became rapidly aware that the operational estate was a very different world. There was very little knowledge of or interest in environmental matters amongst the individuals who were running the buildings operationally.
As you come to the end of your term as Pro-VC, what have been the main challenges around environmental sustainability matters at Cambridge?
One of the challenges is the disconnect that I just mentioned between the world-class research and the day-to-day running of a building, where the building manager is often more concerned with keeping the sinks flowing and the lights on than worrying about optimizing their building. Another challenge is that this is a very democratic, devolved university where every department head is in charge of their own procurement, their own buildings, and where all major decisions have to be taken in a democratic fashion. So this is not a top-down institution. The very features that make us successful, the innovative individuals who can overturn decades of thinking by a simple experiment, those kinds of individuals are not susceptible to top-down management, to being told what to do, and therefore it's quite difficult to bring about major policy change or indeed major or behaviour change.
What do you see as being the key successes during your term?
I think the first key success was to create a team at the centre, a new environment and energy team. When I came into this role, there were just a couple of people working in estate management, but largely involved in compliance matters. And there was an energy and carbon reduction project, which was well funded, but it sat outside the main operational estate management. And so it had relatively little influence. The first thing that I was able to do was to persuade my senior colleagues that we had to create a serious environment and energy team at the heart of estate management with influence both within the estate management operation and in the broader university. So that was the first success. And we've now got a team of 12. We have our first carbon reduction manager, we have the first travel policy manager, we have expertise which is well integrated with operational matters in estate management, but is also able to go out to the wider university and to influence the academic community. That was the first success. The next was to persuade the University Council that we needed a comprehensive review of environmental sustainability matters. That review we carried out over more than a year with a broad range of expertise on the review committee. We interviewed and consulted individuals both within the university and outside in the health service, the private sector, other higher education institutions. And once we had a draft policy, then you and I took that around the university to every important decision-making body in order to consult on it, to harvest such useful opinions as we could, so that by the time we got to the University Council earlier this year, we had overwhelming approval for what is the new vision and strategy and policy for environmental sustainability. Alongside that, we have created a new and much stronger governance and management structure, which means that the university is now well poised for the future to deliver much more effectively across the whole range of environmental sustainability matters. There are other successes too. We have built a new data centre, invested nearly £20 million in a data centre which is far more energy efficient than anything else in the university, and which, by virtue of the way that we've also changed the way that we attribute electricity costs, there's now a strong incentive for heavy-duty computing to move into the data centre, which saves hugely on energy for cooling computers, but it also releases space in departments, in labs and offices, which that space can now be used for research. So one of the successes of the Energy and Carbon Reduction Project has been in the plant growth facilities. We have energy-intensive plant growth facilities which attempt to create in cold Cambridge tropical conditions. And they do so by using banks of energy-hungry fluorescent tubes. By replacing these with appropriate LEDs, we've been able to dramatically decrease the energy consumption. And that's not as easy as it sounds, because the light emission properties of LEDs are not the same as sunlight. And so some LEDs, although they look to us people as though they're providing satisfactory light, they don't provide the right spectrum to allow plants to flourish. Now, it's been a major piece of research which now should be applicable to plant growth facilities all across the world.
What would be your 3 pieces of advice for people in a similar position to you?
The first thing you have to do is to build a team at the centre, and that means invest. You have to invest in people with the right skills, and that not only means technical skills, but the right personal skills as well, because they have to be influencing the rest of the university. So investing in the right people is the first thing. The second is you have to build capacity across the whole university. So we have building managers all the way across the estate, and we have to build their capacity. And we have to train heads of department to realise how important those building managers are in delivery. But I think the third lesson is that the process is almost as important as the outcome. We spent the last 2 years consulting across the university, raising the profile of environmental sustainability matters at all levels, with academics, with administrators, with managers. And that process of involving everybody is as important as the words of the policy that end up on a piece of paper or on a website.
And finally, where do you think we've got to at Cambridge?
I think in creating the vision, strategy and policy and the new governance and management arrangements, we have laid firm foundations for dramatic improvements in the coming years, and it is a long-term project. But I think in the next few years we will see improved processes for the way that we design and procure buildings. We will see improved behaviour around procurement, around travel. We will be raising the whole profile of environmental sustainability matters in the way that we teach and in the way that we behave. And I hope that not only will we therefore be performing better as an institution, but we will be providing leadership for complex institutions like Cambridge around the world.